Welcome, everyone, to another episode of FitFam podcast. Today,
We're doing Doug's favorite thing and talking about the newest and latest and greatest research studies.
whoop, whoop, and we're going to be talking about three really cool things: fertility, sleep, and cognitive function, right?
Let's do it.
Okay. As always, click the bell to be able to subscribe, and also you can be notified whenever there's future podcasts or when we come out with one so that you can always be the first to listen. And as always, this is Miss Natural Olympia Hilary.
And this is Doug the Formulator.
Okay, let's roll.
Okay, let's roll. So, what are we talking about first? Fertility.
That's a big issue. I mean, I like seeing what the trends are. The latest trend is that the fastest rising diseases in the nation are autoimmune diseases, but the fastest rising clinics or, places to go, which, med spas, you'd think, or something like that. No, it's fertility clinics.
Yeah, that's amazing. So approximately 42% of Americans have either personally sought help for fertility or know someone that has. In fact, 1 in 8 reproductive aged women report needing assistance to be able to conceive.
Crazy.
Crazy.
That's a crazy amount. And, running a training center in the 80s and 90s into 2000, we never really heard of people, growing up that were having issues. It was very seldom. And
Right.
now, we know we have friends.
Oh, yeah. Like
everyone.
right off the top of my head, I could give you 5 names,
Crazy.
Yeah.
And for a period of time, people there toward the end of the 90s and that would say, oh, do you run a fertility clinic? Because so many people would come in. And that's our first answer to this. They come in and balance their nutrition and balance their micronutrients, do their blood work, and all of a sudden they're able to conceive. And that's really the ultimate answer, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's the first and foremost. That's a staple in being able to conceive. But there's a nutrient.
Yeah. So this is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this subject today. One of the three is because the study just got finished and it was amazing. It blew my mind. And it was done and it showed that if you take this one nutrient and you get that level up, that nutrient level up in the body, that 53% of the problem with conceiving, in other words, it could be the men or the women that have the issue, that 53% of the time they were able to conceive after increasing this nutrient level in the body. Absolutely mind-blowing.
Tell me the nutrient.
It's ubiquinol. Now, ubiquinol sounds kind of funny. It's a very specific nutrient. It's a part of, like, you've heard of CoQ10. It is CoQ10, but a form of CoQ10 called ubiquinol. And when I read that, I thought, man, I'm not sure. But then a bell went off on my head because we know the most important macronutrient. Like, some people just fix one thing in their diet and it fixes it.
Yeah, so fats. Oftentimes it's that women are consuming too much bad fat and not enough of the healthy fats. So
yeah, just that switch does it. Well, kind of playing off that, that's the macronutrients, right? So the foods you eat. But from a micronutrient standpoint, there's a fat soluble vitamin, meaning it's a nutrient that can only be absorbed through fats. And it's a different process. And that's what ubiquinol is. It's like vitamin E and D, A, K, the fat soluble nutrients. So ubiquinol is huge. And I think that one of the big factors with it, it helps the mitochondria. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. I want to see why would that work? But the fact is that most people are deficient in either the right types of fats coming in or the mechanism deeper down the cellular level that's been messed up because of processed fats. And I really think that some of the fats have been manipulated for that purpose. And now I'm going off down a hole, but I really believe that. And taking straight ubiquinol goes in and cuts through those bad fats that allows the hormones to balance to be able to get pregnant. So 53%. That's definitely one thing I'd highly recommend for men and women, and it actually reduces risk of heart disease dramatically too. So if ubiquinol is not in your plan, I'd highly recommend it.
very cool. Okay, so the next research study that we're going to talk all about is the problem of insufficient sleep, right?
Mm-hmm. And that is a really big one. And I think that, you know, I guess it could have been a problem all along, but it seems almost like it's like the fertility thing. It's just been getting worse the last decade,
Yeah, and
doesn't it?
yeah, I think it is, and I think it's I think it makes sense that it's worse, right?
Mhm.
We spend way more time on our phones or on the computer, where our brains have very little time of rest, right? Of
Absolutely.
turning off all of the, programs that are going on. And so that, I think, has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, in fact, on that same vein, I read another study this morning that was really cool, and it was talking about they were doing this study on all of the hacks, the cold plunges, saunas, red light, all the stuff that we like, we
Yeah,
love it,
for
right?
sure.
But it was funny. It said, "What's the most important thing in the morning?" And this will go back to you actually, and it showed that if you spent the first 20 minutes, and it was the speed of getting there too, by the way, of getting natural sunlight, that the benefits to the body for recovering from not having the best sleep, but also being able to get into sleep that night faster and
Oh,
getting into
wow.
REM sleep was dramatically improved, much greater than sauna, jacuzzi, cold plunge, red light therapy. Just getting in natural sunlight, and the number was 20 minutes.
Wow.
And so I thought that was real powerful.
Yeah, that is powerful, especially because for you and I, as it starts to get colder, we like our cuddle time in the morning. And so getting out into the sun gets a little bit trickier. It's his fault. Doug's a cuddle monster. But yeah, so the recommended amount of sleep per experts is 7 to 9 hours.
Sure.
But isn't it more about the quality of sleep that you're getting than the quantity of sleep, or do we need both?
Yeah, so the research is showing that we do need both, but more important than the quantity is the quality, and that's why a lot of people have their whoops or your
Yeah.
phones and
Well,
the sleep beds, and it's that hour and a half of both deep and REM sleep is really key.
and that's why we have changed our fitness acronym to include sleep as part of it, because we realize just how important sleep is. So insufficient sleep affects what? Almost everything.
Almost everything, but that's what a lot of people don't realize, that major diseases today um, can be exacerbated by ill sleep. What does that mean? That means that, say your diet's a little off, you drink a little alcohol, you do things that you know aren't the best. The effects of those things are dramatically exacerbated, made so much worse because of not enough sleep. When many times those things, the body takes care of those toxins or those little issues that happen once in a while that we choose to do because we do get enough sleep and the body can recover and go through and fix those toxins or recover the tissue, whatever it might be. But not getting enough sleep exacerbates us. Let's
Yeah,
name the main
so
things.
so one of the big ones is cardiovascular disease.
Mhm.
It increases hypertension, high cholesterol, heart disease by 20 to 30%.
20-30% over what's already there. So if you have heart disease issues because of a poor diet and things like that, you add another 20-30% on top of that, which is crazy.
Ooh, that is crazy. Next is mental health disorders. So it heightens chances of depression, anxiety, irritability. I think we've all been there
Mhm.
as mothers, fathers too. Um, Also impairing emotional regulation,
Yeah,
hence the irritability, and brain chemical balance, with up to 40% of severe cases linked to poor sleep. So,
right. So if you have all of the major mental issues, things that you've gone to the doctor for, or people that have, okay, 40% of those are caused to not enough sleep, not because of other
that's
issues,
wild.
not because of actual brain disorders, not enough sleep. That should tell you how important sleep is.
Yeah.
What
So
else?
also metabolic issues like obesity and diabetes, because it disrupts hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin, leading to weight gain, insulin resistance.
Mhm.
So short sleepers are 55% more likely to become obese. That is staggering.
Staggering, staggering.
So,
And
and think about that. Think about not enough sleep affecting your cues of hunger and fullness.
100%, and your metabolic rate,
Yeah.
right? The amount of calories you burn for how much you eat.
Mm,
Think about when you're younger and how many calories you could eat and not gain any weight. Well, a lot of that's affected by your sleep.
yeah. No, that's
And
that's
and think about it,
unreal.
you kind of don't worry as much when you're younger, and so you sleep better. So worry and stress is a big factor with sleep. Why we need to get back to as a little child, right? Is the
Yeah.
more we can have that mindset of like just enjoying life.
Cognitive decline. it causes forgetfulness, reduced focus, higher dementia risk later in life. This says with even one night of deprivation, slowing reaction times equivalent to alcohol intoxication.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's true for the next day. The long-term effects is multiple, like with anything in life. The more you do it, the consistency. If you consistently don't have good sleep, that process in the brain that can just be a little brain fog or something for a while actually turns into where the neurons start to atrophy, and then you have issues. But the good news is it can be reversed, but it does take some time. You've got to get to a point where you are sleeping better. And so what we wanted to do is just kind of focus more on, we've done some podcasts in the past talking about what you can do to get to sleep better, black out everything, do that, and really critical. But what about those days when you didn't get good sleep? What do?
Yeah.
You know that what you just said is you've like being alcohol the night before, right? So it's
Yeah,
like a
so
hangover.
so regardless, you still have a big day and you did not sleep
Mhm.
well last night. So what can I do when sleep deprivation was an issue and I still have a big day that I have to perform?
Two things. One is a phytonutrient called DIM, DIMM, and NADH. So we have a product called NADH plus DIM. And the NADH is a big factor with the DIM, which is a phytonutrient from cruciferous vegetables. But the NADH plus DIM has been proven. In fact, they sell them at truck stops and stuff for people because it's great for sleep deprivation, or the next day, but also people on hangovers. One, and we've known that for years. Okay. But the new one is crazy.
Yeah, we love this higher dose creatine answer, don't we?
We love it. We love it. It was a mind blowing study. It was a study done just 2 years ago, and it was with 20 grams of creatine, which is 4 times normal. We used to take 5 grams of creatine. That's what we were taught decades ago, but to help with muscle, but 20 grams, and it improved cognitive performance and reversing the cellular stress markers in the brain within hours,
Yeah, no,
within
that's
2 hours.
yeah. So there's multiple reviews from 24 to 25 confirming creatine's benefits peak under metabolic stress like sleep loss, enhancing short-term memory loss, and exclusive function in young adults and older populations, outperforming the lower doses at 3 to 5, which is kind of what you just said. So the
Right.
higher dose is what is going to help with the sleep deprivation.
Right. And it actually improves the next night's sleep duration.
Oh, I love that
So that's kind
concept.
of that additional little study to get into that. So what does that mean? I recommend getting up and having 10 grams of creatine immediately. That's the recommendation. And whatever it is you drink in the morning, you have your water, your juice, your coffee, your hot chocolate, or whatever it is, you can take it with it. Now, we're not saying drink sugary drinks, but sugar doesn't affect creatine in a bad way. It
Oh, okay.
actually can help.
Yeah, got it.
And I'd rather you not have the sugar, but just know that you can do that. So whatever you drink in the morning, preferably the green tea or something like that, add 10 grams to it. And then if you work out that day, take another 10 grams, 5 before, 5 after. That's your 20 grams during the
So,
day.
yeah, so as of right now, the studies that are showing this positions creatine as a practical, evidence based tool for mitigating acute sleep deficiencies and especially like cognitive issues with that. So,
Boom. Take your creatine. If you haven't taken creatine for it because you think it's a bodybuilding nutrient only, if you care about your brain, you care about sleep and the benefits of getting a better sleep or to fix the side effects of not getting good sleep, creatine and NADH plus DIM, those are your go-tos in the morning. All
okay,
right, last one.
so let's get into it. Tell us all about it.
Well, and it comes back, I like finishing up with the big picture because we get, we go down those, rifle holes, like singular things specifically for like ubiquinol and all that, which is great and it's fun to do. But we always should step back and say, okay, time out. The research is very clear that if you even have a basic vitamin and mineral deficiency of just vitamin C, just vitamin D, just calcium, just magnesium, just one or two deficiencies in your body, that it can cause major issues like,
Yeah. So you want me to get into all the different
yeah, let's do.
issues? Okay. So and these are deficiencies just from a modern diet, right?
Good point.
Like our foods are not as nutrient dense as they used to be, and we're not consuming more nutrient dense foods nowadays as a whole,
Mhm.
right? We tend to have more processed food because it's more readily available.
Unless you're one of our clients.
And I do feel like we are on the move a lot more than decades past, right? People are, I don't know, is it busier? People are meant to be different places more often, is
Yeah.
just how I feel.
Yeah, and I think that right now, post-COVID, it's really getting more and more that way.
Mm,
People are wanting to get back out there again, right? All of the conventions and seminars we went to this year for the first time since COVID
that's a
are back
great
even
point.
larger, right?
Yeah,
I think every convention we went to this year they would say it's the largest one
largest they've
ever,
had. Yeah,
right?
that's a great point.
And the car convention, the nutrient convention, the Olympia, and that. So people are getting out more and going places, and that does cause a factor because you usually don't follow the nutrition at the highest level, at least the nutrient dense foods,
Yeah,
right?
and what I love about oftentimes when we share all of these different research studies is that somehow they're all intertwined, right?
Mhm.
And you fix this and then it leads to this being fixed. And that's kind of what I'm talking about right here because chronic fatigue and low energy are also related to deficiencies in iron, B12 or
D.
vitamin D. Um, so it reduces your ability to exercise properly, to be able to think clearly, to
Mhm.
run the errands. But it like goes back to the whole sleep factor, right?
Yep. Goes back to the sleep factor completely, and not getting enough sleep drains those nutrients even more. And staying on that focus, mood instability,
Yeah. So that's
right?
the next one: impaired focus and mood stability. That's from
B
B
vitamins,
vitamins.
magnesium.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and magnesium. So all the brain fog, forgetfulness, the irritability that comes along with that,
Mhm.
and then just simple daily decision making.
Absolutely. And then the big one too that people don't focus enough on, in my opinion, and then that is the colds, flus, immune system. How
Yeah.
many events in your life, whether it just be work or family fun or anything, did you not enjoy or not even go to because of a cold, a flu, not feeling good? And we know so many people that the reason that they've actually come to us is because they wanted to have a stronger immune system,
Yeah.
and or they reported later like, oh my gosh, I thought you just got sick every once in a while, and that's the way life was, every year at this time, and haven't got sick or
That's so
uh,
funny. I didn't think about that, but we do hear that
a
so
lot.
often. Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's linked to, a weakened immune system, vitamin A deficiency, C, or zinc shortages. All of that makes you more susceptible to sicknesses by 20 to 50%. That's such a huge number. 50% more likely to get sick
Yeah.
if you're low on vitamin A, C, or zinc.
Oh, 100%. And think about, we were just joking with Marissa, our assistant a minute ago, like, is there ever going to be a week that we're here? Because this
Thanks.
next week we're now going to be gone. But um, you think about the travels we'll do. We're usually in multiple states every week somewhere. And, to not get sick very often at
You know
all.
what? That's true. We don't get
No, I can't
sick
remember the
very
last time.
often.
So,
Wow.
um,
Great job for keeping us healthy, dude.
boom.
Way to go.
And the last
Way to
one of that,
go.
as far as basic deficiencies, is a really interesting one because, like
Mm.
Hilary talked about, a lot of times you don't have the desire to work out or to do different things physically because things hurt and that, and just it's a physical output drain. And a lot of times it's basic nutrients.
Yeah, so Doug's speaking of the muscle weakness
Hmm.
um, when he's talking about the physical output. So magnesium or vitamin D deficiencies,
Amino acids,
amino
glutamine,
acids. Yep.
creatine. So think about what we just said: vitamins A, B, C, D, magnesium, zinc,
All the
calcium,
vitamins.
all of these things. Any one of those can lead to the fatigue, the low energy, the impaired focus, the weakened immunity, muscle weakness. So the thing is that all of us are usually deficient in one or more of those things at any given time, but we don't know which one.
Yeah, I think he's getting to the importance of blood work.
Boop, boop.
And it's just so, so, so true because way too often we think there is something wrong with us. There's something wrong with me. I can't make it to the gym because I am just so exhausted, or following a plan for nutrition is just impossible for me. And I think getting blood work is such a beautiful thing for two reasons. Because one, when you do feel like there's something going on, there is blood work that says, look,
Data.
this is the deficiency that you're dealing with. And if we can resolve that, it will help to fix this issue. The other thing is sometimes some of us get in our heads and think there's something wrong with us. And then we can get our blood work done and it can do the other. It can be like, look, you are, if you point at me, I'll tell you. But honestly, data is everything. And the fact that you can get your blood work and you can look at it and you can go, ah,
It's a tumor.
that part was just in my head. So it solves I've never said I have a tumor. Anyways, it solves the problems and it just gives you a direct answer. And what's great is there's a solution when there's a deficiency.
We're just on a call this morning with 2 brand new clients, and it was the first meeting, Zoom call after their blood work. And there was a father and a son, and the father owns a lot of businesses, like 8 different businesses. And so A-type personality, goes no matter what, right? He said from 4 in the morning till 10 at night every day. And
Wow.
we had a huge deficiency in vitamin D and a few things. And I said, so you're the A-types that will do it anyways, but you probably have to work harder at it than you think. And you think, well, maybe something's wrong, or, it's my age or whatever it is, when it's just a deficiency. And I went over that, and you could just see this sigh of relief with him. He's
Yeah.
like, that is so good to know, because I thought it was just some major going on, or it's just me being an idiot, and like this type stuff. And he was like relieved because he had data now, and it's an easy fix. So that's a really
Right.
good
And
point
and
you
like
have.
just like with that, as we age or, as we endure different trials in our lives, some of our nutrients are going to get zapped. They're just going to get zapped and we're going to need to saturate our system a little bit more. And, it's easy to be like, "Oh, I've always been motivated and something's just wrong. I'm not even motivated anymore." And then to look at it and to be like, "Oh no, it's just a nutrient issue and it can be solved immediately."
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a huge deal.
oh, huge deal.
And so
Love
what
that.
do you do about that? Every 6 months for the rest of your life, you should get blood work done, because it does a number of things. I can't tell you the amount of clients that we've had that we've seen some numbers go off and like, hey, this is bad, but we caught it right now. We can fix it with lifestyle. Improve your diet, make some changes, get your nutrient levels. And if it wasn't caught then, 6 months, maybe a few years down the road, it would actually turn into something
Right.
serious. So you actually do blood work to find out where your body's heading, so you can fix things before they become a big issue. And the medical system, many times, they don't make money on that. So they don't tell you to do that, but you should get blood work done every 6 months for that reason. Also for your organ health, longevity, see where your longevity markers
Yes.
are. And most importantly, just performance. So you can perform at the highest level with the things God gave you, but just balancing the body. So blood work every 6 months. Call the office. You can ask for a health professional near you if you want to do blood work and have someone go over it with you, or if you want to do it yourself and it comes and explains everything. Go to
Yeah.
nutrientsrx.com
And
and
all we're doing is looking at it from a nutritional standpoint.
boom,
Standpoint. What can you do nutritionally to improve your blood markers?
that's it. So do your blood every 6 months. Research Ubiquinol that helps dramatically with fertility, but just hormone balance is probably a good way to
Right.
put that.
Absolutely.
The second one was
It
on
was the
sleep.
higher dose creatine, which we have discussed in the past, by
Mhm.
the way. So we must really love this one.
Do love it, and I've actually felt the benefits of that, so I love it. And then the third one being overall, just get your balances fixed, get your blood work done every 6 months, get your
Because
nutrients
even minor
balanced.
nutrient deficiencies can cause major issues.
Minor creates major. I like that a lot. And so, as always, this is Miss Natural Olympia Hilary.
And this right here is Doug the Formulator.
Catch you later.
See ya.
Keep chewing.